Good morning. This is Ginny with LearnWithGinny.com. If you don't know who I am, I'm an uber busy home business mom who helps other home business moms learn to do their businesses in the time they have, in the chunks of time you have during your day, and I help you get your business on the internet where you can find customers, more customers and leads, buying customers and leads, people excited to buy your products and to work with you. So today I want to talk about baseball life lessons. And we're in the midst of baseball season, and every season there's something to learn, right? And a long time ago I did a post on baseball, the 11 lessons that I wanted to focus on. And they all teach us something. And they're things that you can emphasize with your kids when they're in a sport. And I picked baseball because I just love baseball. And I'm not a baseball player. I'm only a baseball mom. So I know the game from the sidelines. But I'm going to tell you a short story that went along with this. We were at a tournament, and this young man was on the mound pitching, and he got very frustrated and angry because things weren't going his way, and he walked off the mound. In baseball, and at that age group in particular, you don't do that. As a little kid, you give a little bit more leeway and teach them that they got to stick with it. You have to stay there and push through. So there's definitely that lesson, to push through the hard times, because I remember when my son was a lot younger and he threw a no-hitter. I think he thought in his mind that every game should be like that he should be able to pitch perfect and that nobody should ever get a hit off of him. But, my Facebook Live is not working so well today, hey? Hang on a second. There we go. Okay, we're back. I hope that my connection stays. Let me know that you can hear me and say hi. Okay, I'm just going to keep chugging through here. So I was saying it pushed through. Let's see. I'm just going to scroll up here so I can see. Okay, lesson number 1 in my post was one step at a time. And this was a lesson that I had to learn in home business. Is in the beginning, I got excited when I got into internet marketing, and I was like, wow, I can get leads from Twitter and Facebook and Google and Bing, and I wanted to use them all. And I still have to catch myself every once in a while, because what you need to do is learn one thing at a time. And where this came from in baseball was my son was trying to do the same thing. When he was moving up to the next level of competition in his baseball, in pitching in particular, he needed to start to learn how to place pitches in the corners of the plate, and around, right? They put them in the corners, they put them low, they put them high, but within the strike zone, right? Or sometimes outside the strike zone on purpose, but they need to learn how to place the ball. And when he was practicing, he was trying to place it all over the place. And his pitching coach told him, excellent advice, take it one step at a time. Get it in the middle consistently first. When you can do that, then you move to the left corner and do that consistently. Then you move to the right corner and do that consistently. So learn things one step at a time. So if you're learning Facebook marketing, for example, and that's where I ended up focusing, just because if I look at my habits, I spend a lot more time on Facebook. So I started to master Facebook. Master one thing first. Yeah, sorry guys, it looks like my Facebook Live is definitely weak today. So take it one step at a time. Number 2 is focus on what you can control. Now in the game of baseball, there's usually an ump behind the plate making the calls. So when you're pitching, if he's not making good calls, you learn to work the ump. That's part of the game. So if he's making high strike, if it's a high strike zone, you start throwing higher to get him in that strike zone. So play the game. Focus on what you control, which is what you're doing. If it's not working, then you need to find a way to make it work. Make sense? Failure is part of the game. And in baseball, it's a lot of failure because you only 3 out of 10 times is considered good if you get on base and you make a hit. So, because batting 300 is considered like, way to go. So if you are failing, learn something from it in home business. I mean, there is definitely a lesson in every failure. Failure is only failure when you don't learn something from it or when you don't move forward. And I'll use another example in parenting. My son's now at an age where I'm trying to straddle, where do I let him take control of the decisions and where do I need to step in? Because, he is getting older and he does need to start to do those things for himself. And as a pitcher, he has to be careful not to overdo it because the emotion in boys and girls softball, I guess the underhand motion is pretty natural, so they can pitch forever. But this overhead motion, causes a lot of wear and tear on his shoulder and elbow. So he has to pay attention. And the other night, I guess, the coach wasn't paying attention and he pitched like 95 pitches, which is way too much for his age. Way too much for anybody. A grown man in the professional baseball only throws like 90 at the most. I know that they go past 110, but whatever. My point is, it was way too much. In my lesson as a parent, and Facebook is still trying to reconnect. Oh. Let me just check my Wi-Fi is, okay, here we are. Sorry guys, if you're not getting a good video over here on Facebook, I am recording for YouTube. I'll be sure and post that link under this video. Hopefully, if I get to it later on. Yesterday got kind of crazy, and I'm sorry that I didn't get my links in. I'll get them in today, hopefully. So where was I? Failure is part of the game. Oh, I know. I was talking about my failure as a parent. Okay. At the point around 80 pitches, I could see that he was getting tired. And you can say should've, would've, could've, right? But learn something from it and move on. And he's okay. But I should have stepped in and said something. I did talk to the coach and we agreed that, if I'm counting pitches, just let him know when he's getting to that point. And the point there is not necessarily that I'm counting him, but I could see that he was getting tired. So I should act on that. So that is a point that I learned that I need to step in as a parent and help him take care of himself because, he's just a boy still and needed me at that point. So it's a fine balance, right? Being a parent, being a mom, being a home business owner. And here's one. Swing hard just in case you hit it. So I've heard coaches in baseball say, just make contact with the ball. And maybe that's okay when you're little, just because they're trying to teach them the eye-hand coordination. Just watch the ball hit the bat. But as you get older, you're going to want to swing hard, because if you do hit the ball, you want it to go farther. Because if it doesn't make it out of the infield, you're definitely going to be out, because the skills are there where those other kids are going to throw it to first base and you'll be out. So swing hard, just in case you hit it. And in business, that means take the opportunity. Don't miss the opportunities. Act and push hard to get through. And when you're having a hard time squeezing in your business in the pockets of your time, it's hard. You have to get up that hour early in the morning to get something done before running the kids to school, or squeezing it in at your lunch hour, stuff like that. So definitely swing hard. Work as a team. And I like the acronym, together everyone achieves more. And in home business, you do have a team. It might be your family. It might be, bring them on board and let them work together with you. There are tasks your kids can do, like your Facebook posts or something. You don't have to do it all yourself. So, work as a team. And not only that, but as a team, you can learn from each other. So work together. Work hard and practice. That's number 6. And I mentioned in this post a couple of books, The Slight Edge and The Compound Effect. In home business and in life, every little habit builds to create who you are, builds to create your business, and every little thing. Let's say you're on, I'm talking baseball, right? It takes a long time to develop those skills. The little things like how you hold your baseball. The more you practice, the more that becomes muscle memory. And in your home business, the more you practice, the better you'll get. Doing Facebook Lives, my first one was a disaster. Literally, I remember my son was helping me, and he just said, "Mom, I don't think I would ever do that again. I would be so embarrassed." And it was really bad. But I did it again, and next time was a little better. And every time I get a little better at it. And I'm still not super good at it. I forgot to say hi to some of the people that were on live yesterday. It's practice and work hard. It all builds up. Keep your cool. This is the next one. Keep your cool and keep your head in the game. In baseball, especially, and I keep bringing up the pitcher because the pitcher is the center of attention, and he has to take on all the pressure, a lot of pressure. In the batter's box, the batter has to take a lot of pressure. It's just you and your head in the game. So keep your head in the game. Don't get riled up. In home business, don't get riled up over stupid comments or people that are just bullies and have nothing better to do than to comment on your videos or send you nasty notes. Your focus is not them. Your focus is the people that want to hear what you have to say, the people that need to hear your message. So keep your cool. Ignore the people that you're not trying to talk to, because that's not your people. And I will say that writing posts that are negative and controversial, or that say, they call them reviews, or they say why you should not, all of that, those are marketing games. So be careful what you read. I mean, because that's their way of drawing you in. And it gets a lot of traffic. So if you're in, let's say, I'm just going to use my example. When I first started in network marketing, I was researching companies, and you would search for that company. And when you search for that company, you're going to find all those negative reviews. And guess what? You automatically want to go read those. So it gets a lot of attention, and that is exactly why they're written. So keep that in mind. Make logical, not emotional decisions. And that goes back to reacting emotionally and keeping your head in the game. If you react emotionally, you might make the wrong decision. So take the time to look at the numbers. And I tell my son this in his baseball too, because he'll get emotional when he thinks he's not doing a good job. He's a perfectionist, and it's hard in a game of failure to be a perfectionist. But I tell him, he keeps his stats on the computer. I tell him to look at his stats, because the numbers will tell you the true story without the emotions. So in your marketing and in your home business, take a look at the numbers and figure out what you need to do to improve those numbers. Keep logic in your decision. Of course, I am going to say that, almost all your decisions are emotional at some point. So make it a balance. Push through the difficult times. And this is definitely true in a game of failure like baseball. Make sure that you push through. There's hard times. There's going to be a slump when you're not hitting anything. There's going to be times when you're not hitting that strike zone. But push through, because eventually you will. And eventually you'll get out of the slump. Number 10 is be a decent human being. And I think my kids learn this more by watching people who are bad examples of decent human beings. I'm sorry, but it's true. There are a lot of nasty people, and sports sometimes brings out the worst in some of these parents and in some of these coaches. Sometimes the umps are bad too. So I use those as examples. I just say to my kids, how does that person look to you? And do you want to be that kind of person? You can learn something from that. And in home business and in parenting, be a decent human being and teach your kids to be a decent human being. And that means teaching them moral, ethical values and how to treat others and care about others. Sometimes when people react emotionally and act badly, there's probably a reason behind it that you don't know. And you're not in their shoes. So you can't judge them or say things against them without knowing what's behind it, right? But you can use them as an example of bad behavior. So be a decent human being. There's a lot of that in baseball. And the last one was respect the people who are giving you their time. And I've taught this over and over again, so my son does respect his coaches. And in this particular case, the other night when he was pitched too much, he didn't know how to say to the coach, I need to come off the mound. But of course, he wasn't really aware. So that was mom's job there again. But definitely respect them, because the coaches are volunteers. They're not paid. They're there just giving their time and helping the kid out. The parents are there giving their time. So the kids need to respect that and say, thank you, coach, when they leave their practice, because coach gave them their time, and you need to respect that. So, and in home business, you're going to find people doing Facebook Lives, people giving you free advice. Be respectful of their time and say thank you. Make it a great day. I hope that some of these baseball lessons will help you move forward with your business and with your life, and I hope that your kids are learning some of these lessons from their sports or from other activities, because you can certainly learn all these life lessons in lots of other ways. So make it a great day. Make sure you get your free training at learnwithginny.com/products. There's a bunch of free stuff there that you can use. I would say pick one that you want to move forward with and then focus on that. And if you want to learn more, there's always going to be ways to learn more. See you tomorrow.